It has been less than a week since Nikolas Cruz went on his murderous rampage in a South Florida high school that another shooting has already occurred. Reminiscent of the Texas church shooting that took place just a few short months ago, another deranged gunman has entered a church, killing 5 innocent people, proving precisely why gun control is hardly the answer and why churchgoers need to arm themselves. There seems to be an uptick of lunatic shooters opening fire on innocent people in gun-free zones. Of course, instead of the left and the media connecting the dots, realizing that it is the gun-free zones that are the issue, they instead focus on punishing millions of law-abiding gun owners in the country. Just over the last several months, there have been shootings in a church and now a high school that both happen to be both gun-free zones, leaving students and parishioners vulnerable to harm. Now, another gunman has opened fire again in a church, killing multiple victims with ties to ISIS. That only proves why we all need to arm ourselves. A small church in Russia was sadly the latest scene for gun violence when a gunman walked into the church service, killing 5 people. The shooting could have been exponentially worse if it was not for the quick arrival of law enforcement, who were able to shoot the murderous lunatic right away, killing him before he was able to harm more people. Shortly after the shooting took place, the Islamic State terror group took immediate credit for the horrifying violence, praising the shooter for his actions as a soldier of the caliphate. Here is more from Fox News. 5 women were dead and several others were injured after a gunman opened fire with a hunting rifle on people leaving a church service in Russia's Dagestan region on Sunday, Russian media outlets reported. The shooting unfolded outside a church in Kislyar, a town of about 50,000 people on the border with Chechnya. The Russian news agency TASS cited Svetlana Petrenko of the Investigative Committee of the Russian Federation as the source for the number of people dead and wounded. The Islamic State terror network claimed responsibility, according to its AMAQ media agency. ISIS said the was a soldier of the caliphate. A man is known as Khalil al-Dagestani, the New York Times reported. The gunman was shot dead by police responding to the scene, a law enforcement source told the Interfax news agency. According to Interfax, the gunman has been identified as a local man in his early 20s. People were leaving a church after an evening service when he opened gunfire at them, Shuvalov told TASS. 2 police officers and a woman were among the wounded, according to Shuvalov. One woman later died at a hospital, a law enforcement source told RIA Novosti. A witness posted a video of the shooting on Twitter, which captured the moment shots were being fired. Russian television station REN-TV posted surveillance video showing the gunman walking with a gun along main streets of the city. Russian news outlets also posted photos on social media of the alleged weapon used in the attack, in addition to a body in front of the church covered by a tarp. Parishioners were at the church celebrating the end of the Russian festival of Maslenitsa, a holiday which marks the start of Lent for Russian Orthodox Christians, according to RT. Considering the recent shootings that have taken place in our country and abroad, it only makes sense why citizens in America should be arming themselves. Over the last several years, Barack Obama fanned the flames of division by pitting classes of people against each other and allowing ISIS to flourish. Now, we have an entire generation of young adults that do not respect anyone who does not share their same worldview, and radical terrorists running amok, murdering innocent people. While some lawmakers in our country would instead disarm the American people, allowing them only to be victims of gun violence, one state in the United States is doing quite the opposite. Alabama lawmakers have just passed a bill to expand their Stand Your Ground law, which, according to lawmakers in this Republican state, empowers churchgoers to defend their lives in the particular place of worship, and considering what just occurred in Russia, this could not have happened at a better time. It is the time that we all demand that gun-free zones are abolished so that we can adequately protect ourselves and loved ones from being victims of these sorts of occurrences will only continue. For the web powered by Zergnet, this figure skating move was too provocative for the Olympics. Olympic figure skater handles wardrobe malfunction perfectly. The real reason you don't hear about LeAnn Rimes anymore. Donald Trump's bizarre hairdo finally explains. Snowboarder breaks his neck in terrifying crash at Olympics. Here's who Jackie Kennedy thought had her husband killed.